What's up, everyone? Welcome back to District Baseball, and it is our District Nationals episode. It is our first District Nationals episode of the year of the 2024 regular season. I am Nick. You can follow me on Twitter /X at the Coach Moose. He is Trey. You can follow him on Twitter /X. I'm just gonna say Twitter. I'm just gonna call it Twitter. You can follow him on Twitter at Reverse 2 R's 2 S's and the show at District BSB. Like I said, it is District Nationals today. The Nationals unfortunately dropped their opening series in the most Nationals way possible, but we'll get into that. Trey, what's going on?
Nick, I was gonna put on my Nationals Hawaiian shirt in honor of the series win when they were up 5-3 heading into the ninth, and the universe told me to go and screw myself because I shouldn't have thought it. I had the thoughts too early. I should have waited. I shouldn't have even. My brain needs to just turn off during the games. No thoughts, empty head, just watch. Because that was I'm blaming myself for having good thoughts too much. It was just
yeah. This is your fault. Yeah. It's your fault.
But no, other than that, they played all right. So not too mad about the series. We got some stuff to talk about for sure.
Yeah, my immediate takeaway was like, it sounds so obvious, and I hope it doesn't come off that way. But like, this is the exact same team as last year. And take that literally.
I know exactly.
However you interpret it, that's how I mean it. Because this is the exact same team as last year in every respect. They've made zero changes. The names on the back of the jerseys may have changed, but they've made zero changes.
Actually, we can talk about
that too. They looked absolutely awful.
Disaster.
But like, this is the exact same team. They'll win games they have no business winning. They'll lose games they absolutely should win, and at the end of the day or end of the series, they'll lose the series, even though it was a very winnable series. Like, this team, man, they have like a functional issue, and obviously we kind of know that, but like, this team just like they're just, there's no bigger epitome of being stuck where you are than the Nationals. They are the exact same team.
Yes.
In every respect. And we're going to dive into it, right? The pitching was not great. Not great. But it was good enough for the most part. But pitching was not great.
Yeah.
The lineup, not great, but somehow had its moments and honestly should have been enough, right? And then the defense, good at times. Outfield defense was atrocious. So it's like, this is exact same team. Exact same team. But all being said, the Nationals dropped the series 2-1 to the Reds. We'll start with opening day. I love Josiah Gray, and I've mentioned this plenty of times. I'm going to mention it going forward. I'm very realistic about what his kind of ceiling is, or just like what he is right now, right? He's not an ace. He's not going to be an ace, but I think he can be a really, really good MLB pitcher. But he's going to have games like he did on opening day. And we can dive into it more maybe at a later time. But like, long story short, his mechanics are so bad. They're just really, really bad. And it pains me that no one's really mentioned extension to him. And in layman's terms, it's just how far you reach down the mound. It obviously increases velocity, but it also, increases movement
and perceived velocity as well.
Right. That too. So it's gonna be tough to see. But like, if you look at Josiah's front knee, he gets caught behind that front knee. So if I'm behind my front knee, I am now throwing from, call it a foot farther back than I would be if I had straightened that front knee and could extend farther. So because he is so low at the point of release, he doesn't have a lot of vertical movement, right? Which is why you see him really excel with the sweeper, the slider, the cutter, like all the things with horizontal movement. He has really good horizontal movement, right? But because it stays on the same plane, he's going to have periods or games or starts, whatever, where he gets hit hard because it's all on the same plane. That being said, he got hit hard, but he still generated like 16 whiffs, which is unheard of.
It's mostly because of the fastball. It was just gets crushed because
his command was terrible.
Yeah, and that's also, command wise, he wasn't locating that fastball, but also that the extension thing, his fastball doesn't play to its velocity. It plays below its velocity because of how
he was also
extension
throwing slower.
Yeah, his
than
velo was
what
down
we'd
in
expect.
general, so that's, we'll have to wait. Maybe that's just an early season ramp up.
Early, yeah.
But he generated like 15 swings and misses. So I'm not like completely. I don't think it was the worst start ever. I think they jumped on his fastball when he threw it in the zone.
I mean, it was one batter. What's his name? Nick Martini.
Yeah,
I know it was Martini,
or
but
one slider to him.
Yeah, so that's a long-term issue, and I'm not going to spend too much time on that. Obviously, we have a lot to get to, but like that's disappointing that it's almost like their solution is, all right, here's a new pitch, when in reality he just needs to kind of be a little bit more upright and play.
He threw 7 pitches. I mean, like
you don't need that many pitches.
Settle it down to 4.
And the thing that sucks is what made him such an intriguing prospect with the Dodgers particularly is his slider was really, really good. And it was just fastball slider. And they were both really, really good. And now he's throwing a sweeper, he's throwing a cutter, and he's throwing the curveball more. And like, they're not bad pitches, but that's not, it's like you're going to be a jack of all trades, master of none type thing.
Yeah,
you're just going to perennially be a 4 ERA guy because you're just throwing too many pitches. You're not mastering your craft. So I really wish they would just try to make his best pitches better as opposed to just giving him more options. But I'm not worried about him right now. We'll see. I think it was just a rougher start. He struggled his first start last year, and then he went on like 10 starts in a row. That's going, true. 5 innings or something. I can't remember what the exact
run prevention was really good after, because we had the Braves last year. He got blown up in a very similar fashion, actually.
Yeah, not too worried about that. And there really wasn't much else notable about opening day. Eddie Rosario homered, but the game really felt out of reach at that point, even though it wasn't. It just felt like there was no life from the Nats. Eddie Rosario hitting, that helps. Obviously, a potential trade down the line. The defense with Winker, Rosario, and and Lane Thomas has looked absolutely dog shit in the outfield. Like, really, really, really bad. Like, honestly, worse than Winker, which is kind of... Winker had an outfield assist.
Winker looked good compared to Lane Thomas. I mean...
Yeah. So we'll get into that. I'm getting a little bit ahead, so I just want to talk about opening day first. The other notable news about opening day was Nick Senzel got hurt before he ever played a single inning with the Nats.
Yeah.
Broke his thumb fielding ground balls pregame. Out. Ildemaro Vargas got the start, which nobody ever wants to hear, ever, that Ildemaro Vargas is starting for your team. So that kind of led to a very natural way to get Trey Lipscomb up to the major league team, which it's not exactly a 1-for-1, but it's very eerily similar to what happened to Corey Dickerson and Stone Garrett last year, where everyone wanted Stone Garrett up with the team. He didn't for some inexplicable reason. Dickerson got hurt. Garrett came up and really proved that he belonged there. And through 2 games as a major leaguer, Trey Lipscomb is doing the exact same thing, where he didn't break camp with the team, arguably should have, but is now the everyday third baseman, and he today especially looked great. So let's talk about Lipscomb and kind of just the whole infield in general. Trey, what are your thoughts on Trey Lipscomb now being the third baseman going forward?
Well, it's more fun. That's for sure.
Obviously,
I don't want anyone
Homer today, stole a base.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I don't want anyone to get hurt. That sucks that Senzel got hurt. Broken thumb. Yeah. That sucks. I don't want that to be the reason why this happened. But at the end of the day, Trey Lipscomb is more intriguing because he's an actual prospect. He's come through the organization. And, I mean, the offense was good. The stolen base was good. The defense. I mean, this kid, I knew he could pick it. Obviously, we know that he was the Nationals minor league player of the year. But the range, I mean, at third base, he
won a Gold Glove last year in the minors.
Yeah, honestly, his most impressive play to me was the one that he didn't make. It was a diving play over the line yesterday, where he should have never even gotten to it. Shouldn't have even touched it, and he almost made the play and threw the dude out. And he's not even a natural third baseman in terms of his arm strength. He's more of a second baseman in that way. But I was really impressed with his abilities over there. He looked pretty good at the plate. Obviously, went Oppo today. I didn't know he could do that.
Oppo Taco.
I gotta be honest. I was unfamiliar with your game.
Unfamiliar with the game.
With the Oppo.
Insert meme here.
Yeah. So if he's got Oppo power, then there could be something here because the glove is legit. There's no doubt.
And that's the thing. It's like, I talked about this earlier on, and I wrote about this on District on Deck. All right, pause right there. I'm going to take my victory lap while I can. I called Trey Lipscomb should be this team's starting third baseman back in November, before Senzel, before free agency even started. So give me my flowers.
Yeah, I'll give you credit.
I was always on the Trey Lipscomb train. He's definitely better at second. His arm strength, his glove is exceptional. His arm strength doesn't lend him to be a third baseman long term, in my opinion. He can play there in a pinch, but I think he's going to be much better at second. The glove is so damn good. So damn good. Like, there's zero question. It's just like, on that play, yeah, tough play. It's a hit all the live long day. But, like, the throw was, like, not all that convincing. But he's made, like, 6 or 7 plays throughout the series that, like, tough plays look routine because he moves well, his gloves well. And despite having kind of, we'll call it just average arm strength from the left side, like, because everything else is so smooth and efficient, you don't need the best arm in the world to get those outs. So that's really encouraging to see. And if he can just hit at an average clip, that's fine, right? Definitely. And that's something we haven't had. Take Candelario out of it. Like, Candelario is great, but like your Carter Kiebooms, your Ildemar Vargas, your Michael Franco, anyone who's tried to play third base since Anthony Rendon, it's like we've had one of like 5 things. And Trey has like at least 2 right now, but if he can hit, be average hitting, like Vargas was great defensively, couldn't hit. Kieboom couldn't hit, couldn't field. So it's just like we had to pick our poison, but all of it was poison. Surprise. But like Trey, it's at least we have the makings of an MLBer. So I'm really excited to see what he has going forward. If he can just hit, and obviously he's off to a great start. The other guy that looked really, really good this series, obviously CJ Abrams. Obviously the home run today, the triple yesterday, great. Love that. Please continue doing that. I'm more impressed by the walks.
The walks. Yup.
He's never walked 3 times in a game in his entire career. Short career, but 170 games or so, whatever it was, entering this year. Never walked 3 times in a game. Walked 3 times yesterday, Saturday's game. Scored 3 times. And they ended up coming back to win. And it's like, I'm not breaking any news here. I didn't crack the code, but like CJ finding ways on base, being able to steal bases once he's on base, and then facilitating runs, that matters. Like,
he scored really a run all by himself that
right.
That game.
He doesn't. Yeah, exactly. Like he walked, stole second, stole third, scored on a sac fly. Like that's what we need from him. We don't. Obviously, the home runs are great. If he can do it himself with the bat, great. But like, there's other ways he can literally do it himself besides the bat. So that was excellent to see. Obviously, was instrumental. Scored 3 of the 6 runs or whatever it was.
Yeah.
Like, instrumental in that win.
Or we ended up with 7, but yes.
Right, and it's just like, 7, whatever. But like, it was so nice to see. He got a little help from CB Buckner, but like, he was still very.
Hey, you gotta listen. If the ump's giving it to you, there's no reason to expand, and he did not.
Very patient, plate discipline, finding ways on base, disrupting the game. That's what we need from him. And he hasn't had like extremely difficult plays at short, but like the defense, he looks confident out there. Mm-hmm. He looks much more like the second half defense last year than the first half defense, which is good to see as well. But CJ Abrams, extend that man. I don't care.
I know. It's like we're getting to the point where it's going to be too late soon.
Extend that. Shortstops are so expensive now. He's disrupting the game with his bat, with his speed. His defense has taken that step that you wanted it to take before, like to be comfortable paying a shortstop, to play shortstop. He's going to be a shortstop. Pay him. Just pay him.
Please, before it's too late.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then they're also the infield was probably the best unit after I said they probably might be the worst unit, but they were probably the best unit this weekend because Ruiz was also pretty strong defensively. His framing looked a lot better, especially on the low pitches, and he had some big time moments in that game too. Had the game tying home run, and then it was hit by a pitch to tie the game in the 9th as well. And Joey Meneses looked pretty healthy. I mean, listen, I'm not like a Joey lover. I don't think he's gonna be the guy, but if he's going to pull fly balls, hey, more power to him. That's what we need him to do. We need him to get the ball elevated and out of the ballpark. He didn't hit any homers, but he hit the ball hard. 114 exit velo was the highest, was 3 miles per hour higher than his highest last season. So that's encouraging. I'm not saying he's going to be great or he's going to be bad or anything because it's only been 3 games, but that's an encouraging sign at least to see him pulling the ball in the air.
Yeah, and Joey Gallo is as advertised.
My God.
Strikes out a lot.
Rough. I mean, he also got some bad calls. I will give him credit.
Yeah, he got hosed a couple times, but it's like he was never particularly close.
Yeah, when he actually made contact, it was pretty rough.
So I tweeted out, it's like, I don't know how long that experiment lasts, and everyone's like, rah, 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 rah. Fine. I'm not saying like they have to make a change right now. This team's not going to be very good in over the 162 or the 159 that's remaining. Mm-hmm. So I'm not like calling for Joey Gallo's head. I'm just saying if he cannot make contact, right, it forces a change. That was my only point. That change could be as simple as, Meneses to first and Winker to DH and Robles to like, it could be that simple. Like, I'm not saying it needs to be a wholesale change. I'm just saying as far as Joey Gallo, the player, goes, like, I don't know how long his leash is. Like, he's looked good at first base.
Yeah,
but we had that last year.
That's not what we needed.
Right. Ryan, we are all Shaq. He pointed this out, but it's like, this is 2 years in a row now where we're hyping up a first baseman because of his defense, but he can't hit the ball. Like, I don't want to do that anymore. So, that was tough. Luis Garcia Jr., like, he had a double. That was nice to see, but like, he wasn't. There's not much.
He was single and walked today. I'll give him.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Yeah.
Not great.
He's fine. But yeah, Ruiz looked great. Obviously, the hitting I like a lot, but the defense, the framing, just visually looks much better than it has at any point last year. So that's really encouraging to see.
Yeah, definitely stole some today for sure. I mean, the umpires weren't great overall in the series, but it helps when you got a little bit of good framing back there. So.
I mean, it sounds like who was it was the Braves. It was Max Fried. The pitch right down the middle.
Oh my God!
Call strike.
Oh my God!
They could have used some framing there, I guess.
I can't believe we forgot about that for the other one because man, that was bad.
That was awful. Speaking of awful, the outfield defense. First of all, we knew this. Anyone with half a brain about baseball could tell this outfield defense was atrocious. I just didn't expect Lane Thomas to be the worst of the 3.
By far.
That. Yeah, not even close. Yeah, honestly.
Like, Rosario didn't make any bad plays. He obviously can't get to balls that like Victor can get to, but like he didn't make any huge mistakes. Winker threw somebody out, so that's something. Lane Thomas
made several mistakes.
He looked like he had never played the outfield in his life. I mean, what are we doing here?
He looks worse than Joey Meneses. He can't
go backwards. It's like
he can't.
His brain can't compute when going backwards. Anytime a ball goes over his shoulder, he's not making the play. And today, he had one where he's sliding on this play where he needs to be laying out.
And on the Ellie triple?
Yeah, he never dives head first, I noticed. And that was one where he needed to because he could have made that play. And I'm not saying that was, the end-all be-all of the game or anything, but like, come on, man. And then there was another one that hit the top of the wall where he could have literally he didn't have to jump. He probably could have just
I couldn't remember if that was opening day or game 2, but like it's a tough catch again.
Yeah,
but like he stops before he even hits the warning track. Yeah. The warning track exists so that way if you're tracking a ball with your eyes, obviously, you have some sensation of going from grass to dirt or whatever, grass to dirt, so you know to ease up because the wall's a couple feet away. Right, but he stops before he even hits the warning track, looks at the wall as the ball's still in the air, and like it doesn't even hit, like it's not the Green Monster where it's hitting 20 feet up, right? This is like a 6-foot wall or whatever it is. He could catch that ball, and instead it goes to a double, and I think it was opening day. It leads to like a huge inning for the Reds, and it's just like, what are we doing, man?
Yeah, and I don't get the point. Like, he's always looked more comfortable to me in center field, and he's always graded out as average there. Why not put him there where he doesn't have to go directly over his head very often?
Yeah.
And that's like his main thing, that he's not good at doing that. And then put like Rosario in right, who doesn't have as much range. I don't know. Either way, I think Robles needs to probably play more in this outfield because
I'm shocked he didn't play once, to be honest.
Yeah, and it's just because defensively, this is not going to hold up. There's no way that it does. It already is cracking at the seams because Lane Thomas can't go back on a ball.
Yeah, I think the one thing Lane was always good at, and probably still is, we just didn't get a chance this series, is the outfield assists. And obviously you typically want to have your strongest arm in right field, and Lane has a good arm. So that's probably the only reasoning. But
I get that
at this
aspect,
point, Lane should be in center.
Yeah.
If this is the outfield, they're going to try it out.
By the way, the Dodgers just came back and took the lead. So
of course
we got Sunday Night Baseball on, and that just happened.
Hell yeah. So at the plate, like, Winker looked good. Nothing.
I really like the way
crazy.
he's taking his at bats. I mean, he didn't hit no extra base hits, but like plate discipline wise and just battling wise, I mean, he's up there to battle.
I'm not questioning why he made the team, which is good.
Yeah, that's good for now. Yeah, we'll see how far that goes. But I like it so far.
Right. Yeah. So far, again,
and
no
he's
Victor
playing
Robles
hard
series
as well. So
yeah, and you saw, I think it was I'm gonna butcher his last name and I apologize. Spencer Neubaum, I think, the new reporter for the Post. He tweeted out a clip after Trey Lipscomb's first career hit. On their way out to the field, Winker stopped at third base and like kind of embraced Lipscomb, and he's kind of taking that mentorship role, which is cool to see. My only issue, not with Winker, but like in general, is like I hate when the Nats keep guys like that because of the veteran leadership, but then they don't perform on the field.
Yeah, that's
right now. Winker's taking that veteran leadership, but he's also performing on the field, so I'm cool with it.
Yeah, he doesn't seem like he's taking this opportunity for granted. I mean, I feel like he has recognized that this could be your last shot, so make the most of it. So I appreciate that. I appreciate that he's playing hard and trying to help these young guys, and so far the numbers look good. It's only been 3 games, but we'll take it.
So far so good.
Yeah,
so far so
not
good.
Bad.
And he was in there against lefties too.
Yeah,
which of note, they didn't go for the. Davey loves to play matchups, and Robles being a righty, like you would think he would have hit for Rosario or Winker or whatever, but he didn't. So they're kind of trusting the
early in the season. I kind of don't mind it. I mean, maybe with Gallo you want to pinch it, but like Winker, he can see some lefties early on. If it doesn't work out, then you have Robles to pinch hit later in the season.
Yeah. So no Robles this series. No. I mean, Nasim Nunez got in, but it was just the pinch hitter role. No Riley Adams.
Yeah, Riley's probably going to play tomorrow,
which
will be Monday. This will come out on Tuesday.
Yeah. Why don't you talk about the pitching? I'm about to cough.
Okay, I got you. Besides, we obviously went into Josiah. Corbin was whatever in game 2, and then Irvin today had 2 dominant innings, and then kind of was all over the place, but managed to, get it together a little bit. 5 innings pitched, 3 runs, not terrible. The bullpen, which I thought was going to be the strength, was definitely not the strength this weekend. And it starts with, game 1, they actually were fine. Josiah gave up most of those runs. Game 2, Hunter Harvey had a bit of a struggle.
Tough one.
Yeah, and he actually bounced back today and looked good, but he ended up blowing we weren't winning. It was 4-4, but he gave up 2 runs in the 8th. Obviously, the Nats came back and won, so it was kind of a moot point. And he showed up today and was good, so that's an encouraging sign. But Finnegan today was horrendous, and he hung 2 splitters so bad that they got absolutely demolished, and we lost the game.
Back-to-back home runs.
Yeah, so pretty bad. Will Benson is a problem. That dude is. I can't believe Cleveland traded him for basically nothing. That dude is going off to start the season. Obviously, it's against us, so I don't know. But he seems like he's pretty good.
Grain of salt.
But yeah, no, the bullpen. Actually, some of the newer additions were better. Derek Law pitched. He looked good.
Yeah.
Floro struggled a bit today, but then recovered nicely. Got a ground ball double play. That's kind of a part of his game. And Robert Garcia looked pretty good. He had two outings and looked strong. So that's good. But the main 2 guys, Finnegan and Harvey, struggled a little bit, so we got to monitor that. Hopefully they will be able to get it back going.
Yeah, if you can put zeros up, that's what I care about. Obviously, that's not the most hard-hitting analysis, but especially with the bullpen, Yeah, there's going to be some walks. Yeah, there's going to be some hits. As long as there's a 0, then you're doing your job.
Yeah.
And that's what, for the most part, we got from everyone in the bullpen. I think, yeah, because Matt Barnes pitched opening day. So I think everyone got an outing this series.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you're right.
Which is good because obviously Davey loves historically to use the same 3 guys.
Yeah.
So the fact that he used everyone this series and is kind of spreading out the workload is good. We'll see what tomorrow brings. Especially, it'll be really interesting to see if the Nats enter the 7th, 8th, 9th with a lead.
Yeah, if they
and
go
see
triple
what
or
happens
not.
there.
Yeah.
Right.
You don't have to. Like, I think you can spread it out a little bit. Like, hopefully this is a good sign. You know, like, Law can handle it in the middle innings. Weems looked really strong yesterday. I'm actually very impressed with him. I wouldn't mind giving him a 7th inning, 8th inning at occasionally.
Barnes has closed games before. He wouldn't be my first choice, but like if you want to go experience, he's closed
and
games
Floro
before
as well.
Yeah. So there's options.
Yep. There's definitely less excuse to throw these guys 3-4 times without a break. You know, that's for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. Please don't decimate their arms.
Yeah.
Obviously Tanner Rainey exists too. I don't think we mentioned him.
He did. But he had an outing. His velo was definitely down, but command was better.
Yeah, I just mean in terms of like closing potential. He actually might be.
Just everyone pitched. Yeah, because he pitched as well.
Yeah,
so
everybody pitches. So we talked about Gray, Corbin, typical Corbin start. Didn't go 5. You know, and it's funny because like it feels like every Corbin start, the pitch count is not bad. Where it's like if Gore gets pulled, if Gray gets pulled, if Irvin gets pulled, it's like, oh, they're at like 89 pitches through 3 innings or 4 innings. It's like, damn, like he was not efficient. Corbin goes like 3 1/3 on 58 pitches, and he's getting pulled. It's just like, damn, man, like pitch to contact, but like not hard contact.
Not that much.
Irvin today looked fine. I mean,
he had some good. The first 2 innings, I was like, okay.
Yeah, there was good and bad, but I think he'll be fine for the most part. So that'll be good to have some stability. It's not technically the middle of the rotation. I guess he's 4. I would still put him over Williams.
Yeah, me too.
So I guess it is middle of the rotation. But anyways, yeah, I think Irvin will be fine long term. Speaking of leashes, I talked about Joey Gallo. We'll see how long Trevor Williams is. I don't remember if we talked about it on air, if it was off air, but like Davey Martinez basically alluding to Trevor Williams stinks. So it's like, they're not skipping his spot in the rotation despite the off day. So it's going to be Gore tomorrow, or if you're listening to this, it'll be yesterday. This is going to come out on Tuesday. So it'll be Gore, Williams, Gray. So they're not taking advantage of the off day and skipping or getting Josiah back early. They're going to give Williams a start.
I was going to say, let's predict Gore's line real quick. See if we get it right by the time this comes out. What are you thinking?
Okay, so the Pirates are coming out hot. But Reynolds is a lefty, yeah?
Switch.
Okay. So is he better from the left side or the right side, do you know?
I would think the left, but I don't actually know off the top of my head.
So, yeah, O'Neal Cruz lefty. We're going to say Brian Reynolds is better as a lefty. So it's like Gore being a lefty is kind of throwing them off a little bit. I'm coughing again.
Okay, I'll go ahead and give mine. I'm going with 5 innings pitched, 2 runs, 8 Ks. Not gonna give a decision because it'll be different by the time the game's over. But
ooh, my apologies for all the listeners. I am battling a cold, so
yeah, I got you.
Yeah, appreciate you, boy. I'll go. I think Davey leaves him in there too long. I'll throw that out there.
Okay,
Whether it's the 3rd inning or the 6th, it's out there too long. So I'll go 5 1/3, 3 runs, 7 Ks, 3 walks.
Okay. Yeah, that's I think either one of those stat lines is realistic for what he's got. And with the Pirates hitting the way that they are, it's unlikely that he's going to get super deep into the game. But hopefully he can. I'd like to see him get through 6, obviously. But if he can get through 5, we'll take it.
Yeah. So that'll be interesting. It's also supposed to rain this week, so hopefully none of these games get banged. But
yeah, that would be a bummer.
Certainly something to watch. that pretty much wraps up again, we only had one series to break down. Typically when we do these episodes, we're at least going to have two, maybe parts of a third to talk about, but we wanted to get this one out there before obviously the Nats play 6 more games in their early 2024 season. Did you have any final thoughts on the Nats? Anything we didn't get to?
No, we pretty much covered everything from the first series that I thought was worth covering.
Yeah. Yeah. I think there was more good than bad.
I agree. Yeah. Overall, they didn't play that bad.
Takeaway.
They should have won the series. You get a blown save. That's not really on the full team. That's more just a blown save. So.
Yeah. So do they have 3 against the Pirates or 4 against the Pirates?
It's 3. It's a weird Monday game followed by a Tuesday off day, and then Wednesday, Thursday they play.
I guess because technically, it's their home opener, so if it got rained out, they would move it to Tuesday.
Yeah, I think so.
All right, so 3 against Pirates. Do they get swept? Do they sweep? Predict the series.
I'll give us 1. I'll go 2-1. Pirates probably win the series. Yeah.
You ready for this?
Nats
get swept.
Nats get swept. I mean, it's not like it's that. I don't think that's that hot of a take, honestly. The way the
Pirates are hot right
the
now.
way the Pirates are
hot.
hitting the ball, and our starting pitchers, obviously Gore's probably pretty good, but then we got Trevor Williams going against the Pirates. I am scared.
Who's the Pirates opening day starter?
Mitch Keller. That's definitely their weakness. Supposed is pitching, but then they have Keller and
Martin Perez.
Perez pitched pretty well, and then Jared Jones.
We're not going to.
We won't see him, which is kind of a bummer because he looked really good.
That would be the one to watch. Yeah.
But yeah. So yeah, I think 2-1 Pirates, and you're going with a sweep.
Yeah. So tomorrow
I don't like it. But
Marco Gonzalez. I didn't realize he was on Pittsburgh. Wednesday it's Mitch Keller, and then Thursday it's Martin Perez. So yeah.
Fairly even pitching matchups, honestly, but the Pirates' offense definitely gives them the edge.
And that's kind of, I love Gore tomorrow, to potentially get us the win. But his first start of the year, I don't envision him going that deep.
Yeah,
and that's why I'm going sweep. I'm not just going anti-Nats for the sake of going anti-Nats.
Yeah, we'll get to that later in the season, probably.
Yeah, exactly. Plenty of time to get to that. But that does it for this episode. We'll be back next week again. We have 2 episodes every single week. District Baseball coming out on Mondays. District Nationals coming out on Tuesdays. Those days might shift a day earlier or a day later, some weeks, depending on what's going on in baseball and just in our lives. But expect 2 episodes every single week, and we're going to, again, continue dedicating the second episode each week strictly to Nationals, so that way we can kind of church and state it a little bit and cover everything we want to cover. But you can follow us on Twitter in the meantime at District BSB. Trey at Reverse 2Rs2Ss, myself at the Coach Moose, and on TikTok at District Baseball. Be sure to subscribe to YouTube if you're not already watching. I'm fighting a cough right now, so I'm trying to wrap up the show.
You can do it.
But we appreciate you listening. We'll be back next week. And in the meantime, let's go Nats.
Let's go Nats.